It is the very tail end of April 29th. No, it's 30th, April 30th. Young sir was 2 years old on the 28th, so. We're in the lawn. Let's set the coffee down. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Just went through and mowed all of this. You notice I mowed it in this direction. Sometimes I mow it across. Sometimes I mow it this way. Main reason that I do that is, especially around here, I notice that lawns end up with wear patterns from where the wheel tracks are actually moving. I don't know if that's from creating compaction or whether they're just literally rubbing off the plant. But you can see that I'm walking backwards right now. Just trying to walk backwards too. Funny, you have kids someday, they will do all the stuff that you do. This looks much improved from last year. Remember last year I put down Prodiamine at 10 times the rate, if not more than that. And what we had was clubbing at the root level. Instead this year, I had a really good overseed in the fall. And so I've been trying to continue to help this limp along. I've got irrigation set right now every 3 days for, I think, 40 minutes. And that's one of the things that I discounted when I originally started growing grass in the transition zone, was that I would ever need to irrigate. Mother Nature is wonderful. She provides on a very frequent basis for the grass, but she's not always consistent. So there have been years where I'll go almost a month and a half during the summer without substantial rain, because again, you remember, we want to water infrequently and we want to water deep so that we encourage the growth of the roots to be deep into the soil. Now, earlier this year, I cut out this section right here by the mailbox, and I was super impressed by the root structure that I discovered with the grass plants that I removed from there. And I thought about doing a video on that and just breaking it down and showing some clubbing and different stuff, the effects of the Prodiamine, and showing you what the roots actually look like on juvenile plants versus mature established plants. It's a huge difference. Now this project put this in all the way around the mailbox, and these are dahlias. So I'm very interested to see how these dahlias do this next year. Yes, this is the mailbox. Go ahead and take the mail inside. Take that inside. So these dahlias really like full sun. These are the first year that these have come up here. And I've planted dahlias before. Now, where did I plant the dahlias before? We'll come over here and you tell me the difference between that position, which it's probably 10 o'clock in the morning right now. You can see already receiving sun, and the heart of darkness in my lawn. This spot right here, because of this tree behind me, gets almost no sun until we work all the way past, I think, 2 o'clock. And then right back here, here's some other dahlias that I planted, and you can see they're taller, but they're leggier. They're not as thick, they're not as bushy, and they're getting almost no sun. So I have these two other spots here at the base of trees. I've got one there, and then across over here you can see underneath the Bradford pear that I thought last year, I was like, man, I've planted these jumping jack marigolds before, and they grow up to be 3, 4, 5 feet tall, and they have lots of blooms, and I just deadheaded them and collected them, and I thought it would be an interesting thing to have underneath the tree. Well, guess what? If they don't get any light, it doesn't grow. So one of the things I want to remind you guys about is, if you have spots in your lawn where your grass is not getting anywhere from 6 to as many hours of sunlight as it can get, those are going to be your thin areas. So one of those areas is over here, okay? You've got this tree here, and then we've also got this Bradford pear here. And what I've done is now I've trimmed some of these back so that this open area behind me, when the sun tracks through here, we still get more sun than we used to. But man, is it rough. Right up here next to the beds, I get almost no sun. Now, interestingly enough, if we walk over to the side yard and you look up here, I never would have thought of this area as getting a lot of sun because you do have the house on this side shading it. North is this direction, so you've always got the sun back here, but I never ever thought about the reflection off of this house providing ample sun throughout the year. So this side yard over here does pretty well. It's really thickened up as I've continued to just kind of move the lawn along. The one thing that I am learning as I get a little bit older and I work in the lawn more and more and more is that the lawn responds to inputs, yes, but it also responds to cultural practices over time. And when I say cultural practices, what I mean, when you mow it, how often you water it, what your inputs look like in the fall, how consistent you are with those things, what type of herbicides you're putting down. So yeah, it looks green and lush right now, but that's mainly because of the current inputs that we've got from Mother Nature. We've got cool season weather, we got highs in the low 80s to high 70s and lows in the 50s. That's really optimal for this type of grass. So it should look great until it gets a lot of stress and it gets much, much hotter. So hope you guys enjoyed this tour of the lawn. Wanted to let you guys know where things are right now. Hope you're enjoying your spring. Every time I open this door, a bird flies away. I was trying to figure out what was going on. Not sure that bird chose its home wisely. Still funny. We'll see if we end up with baby birds on the front door in a little bit.